right, folks, so it's the end of June, and if you've got roses in your garden, then you need to start thinking about getting your equipment ready for rose pruning. First of all, calm down. Don't get stressed out. This is not as difficult as it all seems. You just got to have a good pair of loppers and a good pair of secateurs, and the rest is pretty logical, so don't stress out. Now, if you live in the colder areas, you will prune your roses slightly later in July. If you live in subtropical areas, around about the middle. Now, it's very, very simple. All you want to do is, first of all, select the main stems. Now, in order to get that, well, it's really difficult if your roses haven't lost a lot of leaf. And you find that in the tropical areas, that is a problem because they actually never really go to sleep. So what we do is, first up, we just prune away everything on top by about a third. So don't worry about where you're pruning, how you're pruning, because this is simply just preparation. And all right, already we can start seeing the wood for the trees here, because by removing a third of almost each branch, we've kind of just opened up the whole plant so we can actually see what's going on. And in that way, you don't need to stress out so much. Now, next up, what I want you to do is remove what we call the dead and diseased wood. Now that we've had a look inside it, we can actually see it. This is where we look into the plant and see, is there any wood in here that is dead and diseased? We've actually got one piece going all the way down here, and it's going all the way down to this main stem. Now, that can prove quite a challenge, because you're going to say, oh, should I cut it off there, and then will the disease then spread to the rest of the plant, and then you get really stressed out. All that you've got to do is remember, at the end of the day, when you finish pruning your rose, you want to have at least 3 or 4 of these main stems, which we are going to identify. So if I have to take this guy off, yes, I still will have 1, 2, 3, 4 main stems in a vase shape. So this guy that's actually growing up parallel to this stem is not a good thing. That's what we don't want. So for this, we need the lopper, and I'm going to take the guy right off at the base, at what we call the crown of the rose, which is where exactly, there we go, get that baby off, where the shoots, the main shoots of the rose start coming out. So there we have it, already looking a whole lot cleaner. Now, we can identify the main ones that we want. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what I'm going to do is, this guy is nice and healthy, but it's coming off one of these minor shoots. So I'm going to take him away. This is one of the lower shoots, thin, spindly, take him away. These two that are growing parallel next to each other, not so hot, that's not what you want. So this guy is going to go. There we go. Use the secateurs, and then finally this guy over here, let's prune him down. So now we've got our 4 main stems left. Great. At this point, we now go right down to almost 20 to 30 centimeters above the ground. That's how far down we want to prune them. We're going to look for a bud. There is a bud. You can see that. We've got a bud there, and we want to prune just above the bud. So in you go. Slanted cut. Beautiful. So when the raindrops fall on here, they run off. Drops on there, runs right off. There's the bud. It's going to be healthy and protected. Look for another little bud over there. Excellent. Just above it. At an angle. Make a nice sharp cut. Same over here. There's a beautiful bud there. Angle, cut it. Another one right here at an angle, and cut it. The most important thing is we're left with our 4 major stems coming out. What you need to do now, put in some rose dressing, spray with some lime sulfur, keep it well and keep it dormant until later on at the end of winter, when you can really then start upping your fertilizing. But remember, make sure that you've got the right tools of the trade, and this job is going to be done really, really easily. All right, folks, this is one thing that you should be doing Most importantly, during winter. Why should we be doing this during winter? What we're trying to do is we're trying to kill the weeds and not the grass. What happens in winter is that the grass slows down, the weeds tend to be king of the castle at this time and really take over your lawn. So it's a good time to get in there and attack them. I've got a pressure sprayer here. It works incredibly well. As I pump it, so I create the pressure inside the vessel, and then when you finish spraying and there is too much pressure left in here, all you do is there's a little pressure release valve over here. You can also manage to calibrate things much easier if you've got a large container like this, which takes 5 litres. Now, what I've got in here is what we call a selective herbicide. Note the word selective, because you can get different forms of these. There are many different makes on the market. The most important thing is that they all work. Just make sure that it says selective. So this is going to kill the weeds and not the grass. How does it work? It identifies things that are broad-leafed, and it kills the broad-leaf plants, but not the narrow-leafed, which is obviously the grass. Get round to it, spray it within about 10 days. These guys are simply just going to shrivel up and disappear, and your job is done.